DEI is very harmful. It divides Americans even further and promotes racism and sexism. To me, DEI stands for didn't earn it. I'm glad this hearing has been brought up. President Trump and House Republicans have done a lot of work rolling back President Biden's disastrous DEI policies. As a Navy SEAL, as a veteran, if somebody saved your life on the battlefield, you wouldn't care about their party, their race, religion, or their creed. We're all Americans. We should be able to disagree without being disagreeable, but the law should be colorblind. Do you guys agree with yes or no, do you agree with Dr. Martin Luther King's statement that people should be judged by the content of their character, not the color of their skin? Mr. Langton?
Absolutely.
Dr. Smith?
Yep.
And Dr. Glock?
Absolutely.
And Dr. Harper?
Martin Luther King would absolutely be repulsed by the politicized attacks on diversity, equity, inclusion.
So you're not going to say yes or no? Yes or no? You got to say yes or no.
No. Listen, I'm telling you right now.
Well, I disagree.
That hiring and
promotion
based. Are you advocating hiring and promotion based on character?
Would also be repulsed by the lack of classical liberal values.
Stands for didn't earn
DEI
it,
gets rid of.
and the answer is yes or no.
Are we hiring people based on skills and experiences, or are we hiring them based on character?
It should be quality, and not race and sex.
This is a very, very difficult conversation. I'm a great granddaughter of someone who had a literal yoke on her neck. A literal yoke. And I will give the 4.5 minutes of my time to my people from Malvern, Arkansas, from those fields. And I want to be clear that 4 out of the 5 of you last year posted on your social media the words of Dr. King. And there are so few folks who actually have studied, who are clear on the theology of freedom of King. Very few of you have read and studied and have sat in Ebenezer Baptist Church, so I would ask you, you keep Dr. King's name out of your mouth. If you, like me and the many scholars who will be watching, studied King, you know that he and the mothers and the fathers of the civil rights movement and of the movement for emancipation not only would be struck by the conversations in this room, but would be shattered by the consequence of lies, of hatred, of abuse of this administration in the name of folks who worked to make this country more free. Children of Abraham, for real. I want to be clear for the young people that are listening today here in this audience, this conversation is not about an acronym. It's just not. It's just not. This is a conversation. It's an attack. It's an attack on what you see right here. Now, see, who's on this side of the dais? This was never the plan. It was never the plan to have people of color in positions where they would be able to speak from this place. In fact, folks had to fight tooth or nail to gain access to the front door to this Capitol. I want to be very clear about that. Today's hearing says quietly and actually out loud who the majority believe is allowed to belong in this country. They use Dr. King's name in deep vein, who has a place in the hierarchy that was never meant to be questioned. The majority is leading a coordinated effort, I want to be clear, to push us back to a segregated America based on race, based on ethnicity, based on national origin, based on sex, based on sexual orientation and gender identity and disability. Inclusion, as a disabled woman, they have been very, very clear, including folks who look different than the standardized white man in this country, folks who are disabled, folks who love differently. Those folks should not be at the center of power. That's the plan. They are motivated by a fear of a multiracial and a multicultural democracy, a fear that freedom of co-equal citizens living as their authentic selves with pride and a fear. They have a fear of accountability. We must name this conversation today for what it truly is. It is a bigotry. It is a hypocrisy. Republicans, like I said before, will quote Dr. King all day, will bring forth Lincoln, and will talk about Frederick Douglass in the same breath that they are gutting civil rights offices in our governments, in the same breath where they seek to ban AP African American Studies that tells the true story of this country. It ain't just one story, it is a complete story. But folks on this dais don't want you to learn it. The hypocrisy from the Republicans is not only shameful, it is anti-American. President Trump and others have purged more than 275,000 federal workers through mass terminations and unlawful firings, while, check this out, preparing draft hiring guidance that would screen job applicants for political loyalty to the administration rather than the Constitution. The Trump administration put 500,000 qualified federal workers with disabilities, jobs at risk. Half of those are veterans. The Trump administration has forced out transgender service members who have served their country with loyalty and love while elevating dangerously unqualified news anchors to lead our nation's Defense Department. The Trump administration rewards loyalty over expertise, obedience over justice. These attacks are central to a broader agenda. Let me just finish this one sentence that criminalizes protests, that bans books, that erases history and redefines its national identity in narrow and violent terms. A 1950s America is what the goal of this conversation is, and some of us say, hell no. I yield.